My name is Eric Archer-Smith. I am the marketing director at ARM Treasure Data. ARM Treasure Data is a customer data platform. We specialize in unifying data silos, usually for marketing and business purposes. I am from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm here in Boston for the eTail East conference. Customer data platform, CDPs, help with customer experience management because the customer experience is all about really being personal. So a customer data platform can understand how you behave on one type of channel, again, email or advertisement, phone call, web, mobile. And it can understand that what you do on one channel should affect how you behave on another channel. Again, I keep using the advertisement, but I think that's something that we can all relate to, right? I just bought that thing, stop showing me the advertisement, right? It's still happening all the time. That's a bad customer experience. But if we expand beyond that use case, I think sometimes the idea of customer data is misleading because customer experience is also affected by supply chain. What if there's food shipped to a grocery store and the data suggests, or the data tells you that maybe humidity went up too high or transportation took too long and that food has been spoiled? That food should not be accepted by that retailer or grocery store so that you don't purchase a contaminated product. Even though it's supply chain, we don't think about it as ad click, we don't think about it as email click, we don't think about it as personal identity. It's not, but it affects your customer experience. And a good customer data platform can recognize all of these data types and orchestrate the data between back-end systems and front-end systems, ideally to improve customer experience on every channel, even including logisticals. There are two challenges involved in implementing a CDP. I think the most important is with regards to data privacy and personally identifiable information, or PII. So different countries are taking different approaches to managing consent. So Europe has GDPR, Brazil has its own, Australia is implementing its own version, and I think we'll continue to see this type of data transparency expand around the world. Some CDPs are more secure than others. And ensuring, if you are collecting personally identifiable information, ensuring that you can manage that data and activate that data in a secure fashion with recognition of the consent of the customer, that's very critical because there's all kinds of data to support that, customer experience influences, market price and all this other stuff. But also data breaches are very expensive. Right? These are just things that should just be avoided at all costs. Another thing that should be considered is really just around organizational alignment. So it's less critical, but a lot of times what we see is people have an idea about personalization as a broad term. They don't have a defined use case. And they will go into purchasing one of these types of platforms and try to, as we say, boil the ocean. They try to do everything at once. And then that's usually not a great way to approach this. This will have a bad experience with the type of technology and perhaps will stall a company from making the progress necessary for their personalization efforts. Better would be to have use cases in mind. These are the problems discretely that I want to solve. These are the data types involved with that. And if you can, as an organization, approach purchasing a customer data platform with use cases in mind, you can be very successful and see ROI very quickly. And then you can expand into some of the fancier stuff, whether it's predictive analytics or blending online and offline data. Customer data platform, CDPs, have benefits for both B2C and B2B. We saw for the last several years, most of the inquiries coming from B2C companies, primarily brands. Now we've seen an evolution into B2B2C, brands who've gone direct to consumer, as well as still sell through traditional retail channels. So the B2B2C model becoming very popular. I am a B2B marketer, and I use my own technology to solve my own marketing problems. So for B2B, a lot of times what we will now see are requests around account-based marketing, which takes into account much longer sales cycles, much more complex sales cycles where there are multiple buying centers before purchasing a product. And in those cases, customer data platforms can be used to do complex customer journey analysis or account journey analysis. So you're not just understanding one person's path to purchase a product, you can analyze multiple people's paths to purchasing that product and how they interact with each other over time and how different types of content or channels may influence different type of personas within a buying process. Privacy is a major concern for anybody implementing a customer data platform. I spoke a little bit earlier about how understanding the security of the particular platform should help inform that decision. Ideally, a customer data platform should be able to filter and permission different types of data. A customer data platform should be able to recognize an opt-out from channel A and reflect that on channel B. So for example, they call into a call center and they say, please don't contact me anymore. That should automatically update in things like email, channel, or advertising. That's an example of how CDP can handle this. I also want to make this point, however, and now it's been about a year since I've looked at the reports and the data, but last time I looked at the ICO, which is one of the governing bodies around GDPR in Europe, 93% of data breaches were human related. The reason that I bring this up is because I think there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's been placed around CDPs because they are threatening other existing technologies. I actually think that most CDPs are inherently more secure than other technologies because the idea behind a CDP is an automated system with what's called an API, which can do machine-to-machine communication. And any system that inherently reduces humans in the chain of data is demonstrably more secure. So less humans managing the different data points will inherently be more secure. And with that being said, looking at each customer data platform's security certifications and how they approach personally identifiable information is something that anybody considering one of these platforms should evaluate. The CDP space is consolidating. And we've seen, I think 3 years ago, there were about 7 of us CDPs, and now there's over 100. So the joke is that everybody's a CDP now. We've already seen some consolidation. So we were acquired last year. We've seen a number of adjacent technologies purchased by, say, Salesforce and Adobe. They have also both announced that they are entering the CDP space. I think we should expect more consolidation. And I think we should expect to see a number of the several dozen new CDP entries kind of fall by the wayside or find a new buzzword that they want to tag onto. But there are very real customer data platforms out there, and I think we should expect to see more acquisition from some of the more time-tested platforms being acquired by larger companies that want to unify not only their own data, but their customers' data as well.